we have been telling you about a body parts found in the trunk of a Tesla owned by the singer David. We now know who the victim is in this case, and there are a lot of twists and turns.
Everyone assumed it was a tragic coincidence when David's Tesla was discovered with a decomposing body inside. However, everything changed when the victim was identified by investigators. You will be horrified by the FBI's recent raid on his property in the Hollywood Hills. We know every detail. Let's dissect it. The startling revelation. On September 8, 2025, the music industry was totally unprepared for what transpired. A rising star's career would be turned upside down by one of the most startling criminal investigations the entertainment business has ever seen, thanks to a discovery at a Los Angeles tow yard. After being left on a public street for what neighbors estimated to be anywhere from 5 days to then a month, a black Tesla was pulled out of the Hollywood Hills 2 days prior. At Hollywood Tow on North Mansfield Avenue, the car was parked next to hundreds of other seized vehicles. In a city filled of luxury cars, this one is just another. However, this Tesla had a terrible secret.
So this guy, David, a news report came out that a dismembered young girl, presumably underage girl, was found in the frunk, and that means the front part of a trunk in a Tesla at some location. It was parked. People realized it was emitting a foul odor. The odor got progressively worse.
On September 8th, workers at the tow yard started to notice a strong, overpowering stench and promptly contacted the authorities. What authorities found inside would start an investigation that is still ongoing and send shockwaves through the music business. Severe decomposition of human remains was discovered by investigators within the front trunk of the Tesla. The car was registered to 20-year-old musician David Anthony Burke, better known by his stage as D4VD, who had become a huge star in the music industry. We must look at David's extraordinary ascent to popularity in order to comprehend the significance of this finding. This musician wasn't your typical one. This individual had transformed the way musicians produce music in the era of digital technology.
So basically, I played Fortnite from 2017 to 2021. I became a YouTuber. I was playing Call of Duty, Fortnite, all these different type of games. Just try to become like the biggest next thing, streamer, Kaisen, everything.
David, who was born on March 28, 2005, was raised in Queens, New York, before spending his adolescence with his family in Houston, Texas. He had a very unorthodox route to stardom. He began his career not as a musician, but as a creator of gaming material. Like many youngsters of his generation, he was obsessed with Fortnite and began creating montage films for YouTube. His journey from gamer to international music star started with a crisis that would have put most people's hopes to rest.
That is until David's worst nightmare came true, and almost every video he had ever made got copyrighted overnight for use in the music. And so David breaks down, he calls his mom crying, and she says if you want to fix your problem, then you should just make your own music.
A billion-stream career was sparked by this desperate moment. The events that followed were nothing short of revolutionary. David did not employ experienced producers or travel to pricey recording studios. Rather, he looked at his iPhone and his sister's closet.
And I looked up how to make music on iPhone, and this app called BandLab comes up. I click on it, I put my Apple earbuds in, and I use my sister's closet as a studio.
The subsequent success was astounding. With over 1.6 billion streams, his debut single, Romantic Homicide, became an international sensation.
So apparently this guy, and I remember during Song Wars, we checked him on, I checked him on Spotify. And on Spotify, the dude, look. Yeah. The dude actually is like popping. 34 million monthly listeners. He has a song, 1.5 billion streams, Here With Me, 500 million, Feel It. And his biggest song, 1.6 billion views, is called Romantic Homicide.
David has accomplished what most artists can only hope for by 2025. He was actively leading his own global tour, had signed with Darkroom Intercope Records, and published his debut album, Withered, which peaked at number 13 on the Billboard Hot 200. He was playing to packed houses on several countries, solidifying his place as one of the top up-and-coming musicians. The grisly discovery's timing couldn't have been more startling. Investigators were trying to identify the decaying bones discovered in David's car while he was playing night after night in front of hundreds of yelling fans. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office made an identification that would alter everything 9 days after the initial finding. Celeste Rivas Hernandez, age 15, was the victim. On April 5, 2024, she was reported missing from Lake Elsinore, California, at the age of 13. Celeste had lived in the suburban hamlet of Lake Elsinore, which is situated in Riverside County, some 70 miles southeast of Los Angeles. A unique SH tattoo in red ink on Celeste's right index finger, which matched the details in her missing person report, allowed for her identification. Forensic specialists working with severely decomposed remains that had been exposed to California's heat for a long time found that this particular identity was essential. The news rocked Celeste's family. Her family hailed her as a cherished daughter, sister, cousin, and friend, as well as a lovely, intelligent, and humorous young woman in a GoFundMe campaign started to pay for funeral costs. The fundraiser page depicted a lively adolescent whose life had been tragically interrupted. However, when important information regarding possible connections between Celeste and David surfaced, the story took an even more startling turn.
We now know who the victim is in this case, and there are a lot of twists and turns.
Yes, the victim, as it turns out, is a 15-year-old girl named Celeste Rivas. And Celeste Rivas had gone missing about a year ago.
The biggest disclosure occurred when Celeste's mother informed media outlets that before her disappearance, her daughter had spoken of having a boyfriend named David. The investigation's focus and scope were instantly altered by this detail, and the discovery of Celeste's remains in a car registered to a person with the same name. There was another finding that further shocked the link.
Now, the photos that we found of David and a tattoo that he has is very, very interesting.
So we found photos from last September where he has on his pointer finger of his right hand
the same finger as hers.
The same exact finger, the exact same tattoo.